This last week, I have been learning to shoot a slingshot, specifically to be very accurate with a slingshot. In fact, the challenge is to hit 3 beer bottles with just 5 shots from a distance of 50 feet. But that's not what this video is about. I'm practicing in this awesome abandoned quarry. It's quite creepy actually. So these are 10mm steel ball bearings. These come in packs of 500, and I bought 2 of these and I've been practicing with them and I've went through a whole bag. Today, I actually am just interested in finding out if I can hit a beer bottle at all from 50 feet, which is about there. The interesting thing here is, for the first time ever, I am able to really accurately measure exactly how much practice I have done. I know to the ball bearing how many shots I fired with this slingshot. And this got me thinking about why I started this channel. So in 2015, I was watching the British Open. I wasn't really interested in the golf itself, but in between segments, they had this guy on that caught my attention. His name was Dan McLaughlin, and he was an ex-professional photographer who had quit his day job in an attempt to become a professional golfer, having never played a round of 18 in his entire life.
What I decided to do is quit my job as a commercial photographer and dedicate 10,000 hours of deliberate practice to mastering golf.
This is the first time I heard the 10,000 hour rule, and it really stuck with me. He called this idea the Dan Plan, and he's logged every single hour he's played golf on his website. You can go and check it out. But it was this term that stuck in my head, the 10,000 hour term. What caught my attention wasn't that you could become professional in 10,000 hours, it was the way of quantifying practice. It wasn't quoted in months or weeks or years, it was quoted in hours, a much more accurate way of talking about exactly how much you practiced. Left. If you ask someone who's really good at piano or guitar or golf exactly how long they've been doing it, they will most likely quote you a time in months or years. And for the beginner, that can be daunting. That number seems both arbitrary and ambiguous. Did you practice every day, every second day? How many hours per day did you practice? Right. Damn it. I miss right every single time. It's always right. So when I heard this guy quote time in hours, it really caught my attention. That was something I was able to wrap my head around much more easily. Hours. I know what an hour is. I can do an hour of practice. I can digest that much more easily than 6 months, 3 years. Those seem like enormous stretches of time, but hours I can deal with. I'm trying to hit that bottle all the way over there with one of these. And that's where I hatched the idea for this channel, to practice and learn skills and measure practice not in months or weeks or years, but in much more discrete intervals like hours, or in this case, exactly how many shots I've fired. Right again. And what I found was this simple idea, this concept of measuring practice time in hours rather than weeks, completely changed how I think about practice. It made it tangible and real and achievable. I could squeeze in a half hour before work and do an hour after work. That's 1.5 hours. It meant that no matter how bad my practice time was, how crappy I was performing, or how bad the weather was, I still got a little win. I did 1 hour. And I've been practicing with this mindset ever since. By breaking practice time into much smaller, digestible chunks, it's just way easier to put in the time. For example, right now, it is 8 AM in the morning and it looks like a gorgeous day, but it is 0 degrees Celsius and I would much rather be at home with a cup of tea. In this scenario, I'm using shots fired rather than hours to measure my practice, but I know I've got 100 shots in my pocket, and if I can just get through them, then I will have done enough practice for today. I don't know the psychology behind this, but for me, this really works. It gets me out of bed and gets me practicing, and it feels good to just score off another hour's practice done. Oh, yeah! So it is possible. All right, that's fantastic, but I don't know how many shots it took me to get that. And the challenge for this video is to do that 3 times with just 5 shots from the same distance. And that really is the underlying theme of this channel. Not 10,000 hours, but what can you achieve in 10 hours. Dividing the time into hours makes it easier for me to get out and actually practice. It makes it seem real and tangible and achievable. I guess my takeaway point here is to try it. Try the simple trick of changing your perspective from it will take me 6 months to learn how to play piano to it will probably take me 20 hours of practice until I can play a tune on the piano. And see how that works for you. See how dividing the time up actually makes a difference. Anyway, before I end this video, a couple more things. One of the perks of having a YouTube channel is sometimes people just tend to give you stuff. Let me show you. So a while back, I got one of these smart phones, connected clock for home and business. I don't really have a use for it. And I also got a Galaxy Note 8, but I already have a Note 8. And Kim, how'd you get on with Android? What is this? What is it actually?
It's an iPhone 6.
And look, she would rather use an iPhone 6 with this awful case than a brand new flagship top of the line phone. So rather than just have stuff lying around, I thought now would be a perfect opportunity to get some Instagram followers for free. So rather than just have stuff lying around, I thought now would be a perfect opportunity to give something back. So all you have to do to win either the La Metric Time connected clock, which I'm told is quite expensive, or a brand new Galaxy Note 8, all you have to do is follow me on Instagram. I'll pick a winner at random and then we'll get these posted out to you. Anyway, thank you very much for watching and stay tuned till this time for the slingshot video. This channel is funded in part via donations received on Patreon. And this week I'd like to thank all the people who have supported me at some point on that platform. I'd like to give an extra special thanks to Simon, Nick, Jack, Vic, Bas, Eloise, Regan, Luke and Chase Arviso. Thank you very much for your support.